look like ridiculously small, or just sit naturally?
I think we look about the same size. That's fine.
I see you're stealing an inch of height on the chair there.
Yeah. But that's because you're taller. So yeah, we're talking about our thoughts on lean business, startups, and the different stages of startups, and about all of the information that's out there on the internet for startups that people are reading, that people like me read, because I've got a startup. I started my own business 2 years ago, and I've read a lot of stuff. So I've read a lot of books, and we were just talking about it because I've just bought Gary Vee's book, Crushing It, from Amazon. So been watching Gary's videos. I think they're great. I've taken what I've taken from it. I think that's what a lot of people do, is they watch videos like this, and even Gary advises that himself, is watch the videos and take what you want from it, take what you feel is right from it, and do you, in the sense of make it right for you, make it the way that you feel like that's the way that you want to do it, and not just not copy somebody else, not copy the way that Gary Vee does it, but take what you want from that and use what you want from that. So the question was, how do people on the internet who are browsing all of this stuff, reading all of these articles, reading, here's the top 5 books for any startup. I remember reading a list like that. I saw Eric Ries, and so I went, and it's Eric Ries, Lean Startup, and it's the Business Model Canvas. And you buy these books and you read them, and you just feel kind of, with Eric Ries, I got a lot from it myself, but in a lot of parts of it you feel lost, because I wasn't doing a Silicon Valley kind of business. And for the Business Model Canvas, you really feel lost, because you're looking at, like, here's the example of iTunes, and here's the example of Amazon, and here's how they do it, and you're like, I'm never going to get to that scale, or am I? I don't know how to apply that to what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting in my room at home, or in my co-working space, and trying to get this product out there, trying to make it right for people. And I think it was when I actually got into Ash Moiria, who is another lean guru, that was the first time that something really spoke to me, because he was on that level of, you're just somebody who has an idea and you want to take it forward and you want to know if it's going to work. Here's how to do it. Here's the process to follow for those really initial steps, from just having an idea to actually having something being sold to people. And that was, for me, that was a transformative moment. But you have to go through a lot of articles and blogs and stuff online before you get there.
This is what we were talking about. Is there a stage where you just get to overwhelm and you think, oh my God, I've just been crippled by all of this information. I can't get it I can't get all my ducks in a row, and there's just too much going on in my mind, and you just feel completely, all right, that's enough. No more entrepreneur life for me. I have to go and find another job.
It's like anything when they say, like, people would say, who do I listen to, right? You've listened to all these people who are supposed to be industry heavyweights, who should really know their stuff. And so if you follow one of them, in theory, you should be successful, right? So you're like, who am I going to choose? Who am I going to follow? And I remember reading the Business Model Canvas and thinking, okay, I don't understand this, but it seems so good, and everybody's talking about it. All the blogs are talking about how good it is. You make your business model with the Business Model Canvas. Don't worry about that 20-page business plan for the bank. You're going to get that VC funding, no problem. And you think, right, I better listen to this, because all the industry experts are saying that this is the thing to do. It reminds me of when we were having our first kid, me and my wife, and you had all these preparation classes. Provided by the state, where you went to the hospital you were going to give birth in, and they would give you like 10 hours of preparation class or something like that. And we had a really, really nice one, because people would be asking questions about all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts of like modern ways to have a baby. It's kind of, it's a nice analogy. I like that, right?
Yeah.
Having a baby, because it is like having a startup is like having a baby, right? So you're going to have a baby, and you're listening to these other moms guys there. Some of the groups.
Well, you're starting a family, not a company, but it's the same.
It's not far, yeah. But you're sitting there and you're listening to these other mums asking questions. It was mostly the mums who had the knowledge, not really the dads who were there, unfortunately. But the mums would be saying things like, "Yeah, so in your hospital, do you do like the specific method that I've been reading about, and it's like acupuncture during the birth and whatever, and so you get like whatever." And you're thinking, that sounds a bit weird. But then they're explaining, it's supposed to help the baby not be so traumatized in the birth. And you're thinking, oh crap, I don't want my baby to be traumatized during the birth. I better listen to this. Like, I'm going to read about it. And you could read about it on the internet and you get loads of evidence suggesting that that's the best way to have a baby. I mean, that's just, industry disrupting way of having a baby where your whole life's going to be, they're going to sleep better, they're going to be teething better, you're going to have such an easy life after that, so much success. And so you're thinking, crap, okay, I've been doing it all wrong, I better listen to this. But the woman who we had for the preparation class had a really good attitude where she would always be like, if for you that makes sense, then do that. Knowing that we basically know nothing about the process. There's very little scientific evidence. You'll hear all sorts of things. There are people saying things like, I don't know the sex of the baby yet. Is it true that if your stomach is a bit down, then it's going to be a girl, and if it's up, it's going to be a boy? I don't know. Or we did the business this way to make the baby, and supposedly that's supposed to be better for making a boy and a girl. And then this lady would say, well, actually, that's true in a certain way, that there is evidence that supports that. I mean, it's not great evidence, but there's a tendency towards that, what you're saying. But we have no conclusive proof, and there's not really conclusive proof for anything. But if you like it, it makes you feel better, you're going to go through the process easier, then do that if that's right for you. Take the bits that you like. Don't just prescribe yourself. Don't follow the dogma. And I think that brings me maybe to a point, I suppose, in some roundabout way. For a business is, you can read all the advice in the world about how you're going to have that baby of your startup. But if you take the bits that are for you, then whether you succeed or fail, you're going to feel like you succeeded your way or you failed your way. So maybe you'll blame yourself, but at least you'll say, I didn't follow someone else, and then like have that moment of, oh, that asshole told me to do it this way, and now my business has failed, and I should never have listened to him. You'll say, no, I decided to do it this way. That was the way I felt was best. I tried my best, basically. I tried my best with the advice that was out there. I don't have a business coach, what you were saying earlier.
Yep.
I don't have somebody sitting. I don't have Gary Vee sitting behind me every day, telling me how to do my business. That'd be great, and I'd be a millionaire in a week. But I have to do it myself. I'm alone. You're a lone startup founder. You have to do it yourself. So you have to take what's best for you. But then so getting overwhelmed would be thinking that you need to listen to all the pieces of advice and make a choice, as opposed to just reading to inform yourself, to understand, to open up your mind, to think a bit more about it, and then to say, right, what do I take away from all of that? What's my understanding of what that person has just said? Even if you disagree with them about certain points, which I find I disagree with plenty of people out there who are making points about certain things. And if you do that, I think then it's not overwhelming, it's actually quite freeing, because then you feel like I'm educated, I'm an expert in my own right, because I've taken lots of different pieces of information and made a new sort of approach, my own approach to it. And so I'm kind of an expert in my own right. I don't have to listen to somebody else and feel inferior. I actually feel like I've got the information I need, and I'm happy with that. So if I succeed or fail, it's on me.
So the next time you see like the headline, follow this plan and you'll become a millionaire within a year.
Follow this plan and you'll have a 4-hour work week.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I read. That was seriously the first thing I read. When I said I wanted to start my own business, my wife bought me the 4-hour work week, which was really kind. And it really opened my mind up a lot about startups and the whole culture. But it makes a promise that it's impossible, and that Tim Ferriss himself said he regrets, because it's Jamie Oliver's 15-minute meals.
Right.
You see a book that says cook this stuff in 15 minutes, and you're like, my life is going to get so much better. I'm spending 45 minutes cooking dinner, an hour cooking dinner. Now I can just spend 15 minutes. And that's not the point. It's that the point is cook more sensibly with less ingredients. Mixing the different processes together and try to get it down to the shortest time possible. Taking the example of what I'm doing, the 4-hour work week is fine if you're selling. What was it that Tim was selling at the very beginning?
Brain cooking.
Brain cooking, right? So stuff about was
bodybuilding, nutrition, and cognitive speed, wasn't it? Speeding up.
So fine, and if you've got like the examples he gives in this book, if you're selling like super high priced stereos that only come from Denmark, and the company in Denmark can market it in foreign countries, great, and you probably can make a lot of money doing that if you set up the right channels. But in my industry, I'll give you an example. In my industry, the very first idea I had was I wanted to, because I come from the English training industry, training non-English speakers how to speak English in a business context. And there's a lot of books available for that, right? There's a lot of textbooks that are available. And the companies who sell them have been having problems because the language schools are buying them less and less. And it's a vicious cycle because what happened is they have less money to market them. So the language schools weren't hearing about their new books. They weren't hearing about the updated versions of the books. They were sticking with the old ones because they worked just fine, even though the new ones had new features, online stuff, digital stuff. And so they were having this marketing problem. They were actually pulling staff out of countries back into England to say, we just don't have the money to market this stuff anymore. It's kind of a vicious cycle. They would have bought the books had they known. And so I went to the 3 major publishers and said, I know a lot about website building. I can set up a website. It'll be like direct sales, so it'll be the 4-hour work week thing basically. I read that and then thought, student books for schools. So that's just, I was like, that's the product, and I knew, I was like so sure about it. I thought, I'll look at how to set up the website, and now I can do that sort of, direct stock thing where, I'll put the order through directly to Cambridge, and then Cambridge will package the book with my logo on it and send it out to the school. I'll go around the schools promoting it myself or whatever, do it online with Google AdWords, and I really had the plan based on 4-hour work week, right? And then I went to those 3 publishers full of energy, like, yeah, dude, I'm going to sell your books. And I had sit-down meetings with them, and all of them said, no, we are not interested in partnering with you unless you already have a list of, let's say, at least 100 clients who want to buy from you. And I was like, how do I get that if I can't actually offer them the books? I'm going to have to go around for free, spending months and months and months trying to get a client list to come back to you and say, these people will theoretically buy if you let me sell them your books. And it just fell apart at that point. So, that you have that plan, and the framework is great, but individual context is always like way more important than just following a dogma. The dogma is great, but it doesn't apply to every individual context.
Yeah. So the individual context mixed with the action, like you actually did do it, right? So many people read these books and then put them back down, or they put them up in their bookshelf, and then they'll do vlogs like this with all these books behind them.
That's what I have at home. Seriously.
But how many people don't take the action? You did actually take the action, and you got in front of those people in the schools, and you had the face-to-face meetings. Sure, it failed, define failure. It didn't work, but from the book and from the individual context that you took, you managed to overcome probably some big fears around becoming an entrepreneur or a freelancer, and got out there.
What happened was then, so I met people who were working in that industry through pitching to them the idea of this whole bookshop thing. And through that, I ended up speaking to potential clients who were also having other problems. And that was the big deal, was I understood that industry. So then that got me the door in to talk to clients from that industry. And suddenly you find that there's another problem, which is what I'm doing today, which is digital training. So doing platforms to train online, having a platform to train online. And that opened up a whole line of discovery and customer learning. And I think anything to do, you can never do too much if you're researching about customer learning, about customer insight, and about this whole, what you talk about, this like opening up deals, not trying to close people, but getting conversations. It seems so counterintuitive, and most people, when you read the books, you do get reassured about that, where they're like, yes, okay, you're going around and you're talking to people, and it seems like wasted time because your time is money, and you want to make money quickly.
Right. We come from such a background of close.
We come from a background of, if you don't have money this month, you don't pay your rent.
That's right.
So I had that background. I was thinking, I can't spend months going around talking to customers and just discovering. If I could go back now and say to myself at the very beginning, okay, good luck starting your business. Today's day one. You're going to spend basically a year talking to people and making very little money and burning through your savings and discovering what financial ruin might look like. And I would just be like, okay, I'll just stick with my job then. I did the 4-hour work week, burn that book, that's it, I'm done with that. But then once you have that customer insight, I'm in a position now where I know so well what challenges these kind of people, these customers that mine are facing. 2 different customer segments. So customers, part of it is the organizations who get training contracts and pass the training contracts on to freelance trainers. And then the other segment is the actual trainers themselves who are working independently of an organization. And I know so much about those two groups of people. I have some people there and clients who are now friends, and you feel this incredible confidence where you know that you're going to do something that's going to be of value, and you're going to solve one of their problems with some of your expertise in a way that's going to make you money, and that's going to be enough to pay the rent. But you have to have that patience. I think maybe that's good advice for any startup is, and a lot of people talk about that. Don't expect to make money anytime soon. And if you're doing it to make money, forget about it. Do it while you have a part-time job. There was a Tim Ferriss interview there the other day with a woman, I can't remember her name, who did a TED Talk and released a book about confidence. I really can't remember the name, but they made a really good point, which was if you are doing this dream project of yours, make sure that you've got some sort of side project that's bringing in steady money. You could definitely have some sort of income. Don't just sacrifice all your time for your dream. Assume that it won't make any money and have something on the side. And all the greats do it. All the greats, Gary's out there. Gary Vee is out there pumping out content for free, knowing that he has that other side of his business that's making huge amounts of money for him. He doesn't have to worry about paying the rent. I thought he's had to worry about that for a very long time, but he's just not worrying about paying the rent, even though he's out there giving away stuff for free most of the week, because that part of the week where he is doing that work is such high level, high quality stuff that he's getting paid really well for it. So, but he has that part of the business that makes money. He could very easily just say, no, I don't want that, and I want to just help the people who watch my videos and make less money doing that. But you have to have that steady job that's maybe the boring part that you don't like, but it just doesn't fill you with passion like your project does. And so you think, why am I wasting my time with this? Well, you're wasting your time because you need to pay the rent. And if you're worried about money, it will affect the project of trying to live the passion. So, that's and there you go. I listened to a Tim Ferriss podcast. It was an hour-long podcast.
Yeah.
Didn't take a lot away from it, apart from join Toastmasters.
Right.
Because I'm not good at public speaking, so join Toastmasters and have a project that makes money on the side.
Right.
Yeah. Keep yourself financially secure. Two things I took away from that, and I'll keep those with me, and that's part of my approach now, not somebody else's. But you can share that with other people, and they can take what they want from what you share. And people have been watching this video for 17 minutes. I don't know what they'll have taken away from it, but if they can take one thing, then you've helped someone, right?
Yeah, I think the main thing people should take away from it is read as much as you can, but don't get sucked into just one narrow field. Take that one from here, start piecing it all together where it's making sense to you, to your personality, to your market.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, nice.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you.